Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to create the ultimate habit tracker for 2025. In this template you'll be able to check off your habits by using buttons, you'll be able to see your weekly view, you'll have your monthly progress as well as your all-time analytics, and you'll also have your monthly calendar overview. This exact same template is linked down below in my shop, or if you want to build it along with me, then let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start on a blank new page and just title it my habit tracker. Let's go ahead and make it full width and change the icon. And I'll add a check mark. Now I want to create a habits database. So let's go ahead and do /database inline. This will be a new table and we can give it a title, my 2025 habit tracker. We're going to leave this section as it is, but we're going to add a date property. So let's go ahead and click the plus sign, add date. And now I want to add the habits that I want to be checking off. I'm going to add checkbox properties for each one of my habits. So let's go to the plus again and select checkbox. And this will be my first habit. So for example, wake up early. And then you can also change the icon. Whenever you have checkbox properties, you can hover right here and just make it smaller so that only the icon is showing. I'll add the rest of my habits. So the second one, another checkbox property, and this one will be drink 2 liters. You can also just duplicate this property and change the name and the icon. Okay, so I have added my 5 habits. I'm going to click here on new page so that we can include an entry for today, just so that we can see how it's coming along as we build it. So this will just be at today, and I'll include today's date. And we see the checkboxes so that we can just check off our habits for that day. Now I want to see my score for that day and how well I did, how many out of my 5 habits I was able to complete. So let's go ahead and add a formula property so that we can see our overall score for that day. So let's click the plus sign again, go to formula, and this will be our score. We can edit the formula, and let's start by writing out round. So this will round out our final answer to 2 decimal places. Open parentheses once more. And let's start with our first habit. So for me, it'll be wake up early. And what I'm going to do, since this is a checkbox property, I want to convert it into a number. So we're going to do dot to number function, select it, and then we'll do plus. And if you do shift and return, it goes down to another line, so it just keeps it a little bit cleaner. And we'll do our second habit and so on. So my second one would be drink 2 liters of water. I'll do the same thing, convert it into a number with that function, plus shift return to go to the third line. Write my third habit, to number function, plus shift return. Fourth habit, dot to number, plus shift return my last habit, which is read. Also dot to number. So those are all of the habits that I have. Make sure to keep doing the same thing for all of the habits that you have in your workspace. So since those are all of mine, I can close my parentheses right here. And then we're going to divide by the amount of habits that you have. So I have 5 of them, therefore I'll divide by 5. But make sure this number reflects the amount of habits that you have. And now we're going to multiply by 100. I just do shift 8 to have the asterisk show up, 100. We can close our parentheses right here, and now we divide by 100 as well so that we can get the percentage. And this is what the final formula would look like. Let's go ahead and click save. Over here where it says number format, I'm going to change it to percent. And then instead of number, I'm going to change it to a bar. Now it automatically shows up as green. I like it green. I'm just gonna leave it like that. Now let's see if it works. So if I start checking off my habits, it should be working correctly. Awesome. This next step is optional, but I like to include a little motivational message if I was able to get to 100% for that day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the plus sign and select a formula again. And this will just be a message. Edit formula. And what I'm going to do is if that day was 100%, then I'm going to get a little you did it message. So if you want to include that, you would do if open parentheses my score is equals to 1, comma, then open quotations, and then here you can write whatever message you would like. I'm just going to write you did it with a little emoji, and okay, you can close quotations, comma, open quotation again, and just include both of them. Unless you want to add some sort of message if you didn't get to 100% that day, I'm just going to leave it empty. And now I can close parentheses and hit save. There we go. And since all of them are checked off, then I get my little you did it message. Yay. Okay, now let's create a template so that I don't have to include this name and this date every time that I go to create a new entry. And I want it to automatically show up every single day so that I don't have to worry about anything but just checking off the habits that I completed. So in order to do that, we're going to go over here to where it says new, select the down arrow and new template. This will be at today, date when duplicated. And then as you see them populate, it will be at today or at yesterday, at Wednesday. And since it populates like that, I want to also see exactly what day it is. So here where it says date, I'm also going to select today, date when duplicated. And let's go back and set it as the default view for all of my views. And then we also want it to repeat. So I want it to generate a new entry every single day. So let's click here and have it repeat daily. Now you can change at whatever time you want it to be created. I'm just gonna leave it like that and hit save. And now I'm gonna turn this into a gallery view so that it looks a little bit nicer. I'll go to the 3 dots, layout, gallery. Okay, and then for the card preview, I want to change it to none. And now let's go ahead and make some of those properties visible. So properties, and I want to see everything actually. So you can just click show all and then just rearrange it to whatever order you would like. So I want my wake up early first, drink water, exercise, meditate, read. I do want the date at the very top, my score, and my message. There we go. Now in this section at the top, I want to see my week. So maybe in case I forgot to check off a habit the previous day, I can just quickly check it off from there. So let's go ahead and add that weekly filter. So right here, filter, where it says dates, it's going to show this week only. I do like to change the card size to small. Right now it's at medium. That's the default. So if we go to the 3 dots, layout, I'm gonna make the card size small. And here where it says gallery, I'm just going to rename this to this week. And I'll change the icon too. Okay, now I want to add the buttons so that I can check off each habit for that day. And I'm going to place them on the side of my weekly view. So I'm going to click right here at the top where it says my habit tracker and hit return just to create some space. And what I'm going to do is /2C. This creates 2 columns. And I'm going to place my weekly view on the right side. And I can make it a little bit bigger. And over here, I'll start by including a call out. So /call out, and this will be check off habits You can change the icon as well. And you can also change the color. I'll make it green. Perfect, so now I can start making my buttons. So let's do / button. And this will have the name of my first habit. So wake up early and change the icon. I'm going to uncheck these so that we can see if my buttons are working. All right, so when I click this wake up early, we're going to select new action. And what I want to do is I want to edit pages in this database. So let's click edit pages in. Let's select our habits database we just created. There we go. Now, if we notice, it says edit all pages in my habit tracker. Now, I don't want it to do that. I want it to only check off the habit for today. So instead of all pages, let's change it to where date, start date is relative to today, this day. So this is what it should look like. Okay, once you have it like that, now we can edit a property within that database. So edit property, and let's select our first habit, and I want it to be checked. And that's it, done. So let's see if it works. Perfect. Now we can just duplicate this button and change a couple of things. So let's go ahead and duplicate it and go where it says edit button. Now this will be my second habit. Oops. Change the icon. I actually want to make them a little bit more colorful. I'll change the other one. Let me make this bigger so that you can see. So this we can leave as it is. What we want to change is the property that we're editing. So we want to select the corresponding one. So drink 2 liters of water and make sure that it's checked and done. We can continue doing that for the rest of our habits. Okay, let's make sure that all of our buttons are working. So you just need to click the button and see if they are working. Okay, now I can make this smaller once more. And I'm going to include a divider at the bottom. I just like to make sure that things are nice and organized. So if you do 3 dashes, it'll create a divider for you. Okay, so now I want to add my monthly progress chart so that I can just have an overall look at my month. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our habit tracker database, select the 6 dots, and we're going to copy the link, and we're going to paste it as a linked database view. Okay, now instead of the layout being a gallery, we're going to turn it into a chart, and we can edit the chart. So instead of a bar, we're going to do a line graph. Let's make sure that everything looks in order. So that looks good, looks good. Okay, here in the y-axis, what to show, we want to change it to score sum. And then if you select more style options, there's a couple other things that you can change. So I like to make it into a smooth line. And then you can also change the color right here. I'm gonna make it green. So right now we're only seeing one data point because we only have today's entry. But as you start inputting more info, then you'll start to see your monthly progress. So I can hide the database title and I'll rename it. If you don't want to include a name, you can just hit the space bar and it'll only show the icon. The icon I do want to change. There we go. And I'm going to include a call out for my monthly progress title. So / call out, and this will be monthly progress. I'll also change the icon. And I'm gonna drag it right here up to the top. Let's also not forget to change the filter that we have right here, because since we copied it from this database, then it still has that same filter. So if we click on it, let's change it so that instead of this week, it's this month. Now I'm going to add a section that's going to show me my all-time analytics for each one of my habits. So let's do / database inline, and this will be a new table. Let's rename it to my analytics. I'm going to select new page, and this is going to be my analytics. I want to relate it back to my habit tracker database. So in order to do that, I need to add a relation property. So let's go to the plus sign and let's select relation. Let's link the database and let's make it a two-way relation so that it also shows up on my habit tracker. Add relation. And so here, once we click, it'll have today's entry. And so as you create more entries, it's going to show all of them. So in order for them to sync up, you would have to add each entry on here. But since we don't want to waste any time doing that manually, or because we might entirely forget to do that, let's go back to our habit tracker and include it in our template so that it automatically gets added with each new entry that we have. So let's go back here to our template and select edit template. And here where it says my analytics tracker, then we can relate it to the analytics page that we created. And so each time we have a new entry, now it's going to get linked up to my analytics database. Okay, now let's go back to the analytics section. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a roll-up property for each one of our habits so that it calculates the percent checked of that specific habit. So let's do the plus sign. Let's select the roll-up property. And this will be my first habit. For relation, we should see our habit tracker database show up. And for the property, we're going to select the habit that we're doing, so wake up early, and I wanted to calculate percent checked. You can leave it just as a number, you can include a bar or a ring. I'm gonna do a ring and then I'm gonna do different colors for all of them. So wake up early, I associate it with yellow. And so we're gonna do the exact same thing for all of our properties. So just add a roll up and include your second habit. Select your habit tracker, the according habit for the property, and have it show percent checked. I have added the roll-ups for all of my properties. Now I'm going to turn this into a gallery view. So let's go to the three dots over here, layout, gallery. For card preview, let's select none. And then let's go back to properties so that we can see. I'm going to show all and then just hide the habit tracker database. Now, if we take a look, we just see a bunch of percentages and rings, and we do not know what belongs to what. So what I'm going to do is create some labels so that we can distinguish each percentage. So right here, you can just select a new property. I like to go to formula and create a label there. So I'm just going to rename this to wake up label, anything that helps you distinguish them. Edit property, and then here you can just do quotations, write your habit, and close quotations. I want to make mine bold, so if you want to do that, you can just do dot style, open parentheses, open quotations, B, close quotations, and close parentheses, and it's going to have that label in bold, just like that. So I'm going to add labels for all of my habits. Okay, and now that I have all my labels, I can just rearrange them in the correct order. So I go to properties and make sure that the correct habit is underneath it as well. Perfect, and now I can see the percentage for each one of my habits. I can hide the database title now, and I'm going to include a call out for my analytics, so / call out, and this would be analytics. I'm going to set this right next to my monthly progress, so I'm going to drag it right here. Make sure this is with my month, and then drag my database right underneath my title. Okay, I can make it smaller. I think that looks good. And again, if you don't want that gallery title, you can just click on it and rename, hit the space bar, and it's gone. Okay, we're almost finished. The last thing that we're going to add is just a calendar view. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go back to my habits database, and I'm going to copy the link again and paste it down here below as a linked database view. Make sure that the layout is set to calendar, and this filter, just make sure to remove it. You can delete filter right there and hide the database title. And here you can select what properties you want to see. For mine, I'll usually just have my progress and then the message, but I do find it useful to have all of the checkboxes in case I need to check something off. So it's up to you on this one, but let's go ahead to properties. And if it's easier to just show all and then hide the ones you don't want. So let's take a look. Okay, I don't want to see the date or the habit tracker, and I'll just rearrange these to match the top one. And so it would look like this. Okay, and the last thing that I'll do is just create a call out for my calendar. So I'll just do / call out, and this will just be calendar. I'll drag it up to the top of my calendar here. And here where it says this week, I'm going to rename it by just hitting the space bar so the title goes away, and that's it. And that's everything for this habit tracker. I hope that it was useful for you. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos about Notion. Bye.